Wassail, you careful people. I've been away from posting videos. There's been no internet connection. Everywhere I stay, because I'm staying in very low budget places, there just isn't a connection that works. So I've been unable to make videos. But I have been absorbing energy, searching around, seeing what's going on. And I've been preparing a very long video for you, which is pick a door, but it needs a little bit of an explanation before we go into it. So in Rabat a few weeks back, the table on the roof terrace had this amazing symbol on it. I couldn't work out what the symbol was, and I kept looking for it. I kept trying to find ways to discover things about it, and it was very difficult, very hard. And then when I turned up in Tamlacht, it was on the doors to the room, and I was told then that it's actually a Berber Amazigh symbol that is a fibula, a brooch. And so here is a musician, Sheila, wearing two of the brooches. And it's interesting that the way in which it was attached was very much like the Celtic brooch, the penannular brooch, which has a circle that you twist and lock with the pin. And that immediately took me to Blursa, which is card 67, which is a 13, a divine frequency. And there is this really strong energy here of the mother phallus, this need to create energetically our palace, our cell, that we surround ourselves with, safety, protection, by the very nature of landing this energy in the physical world. You are protected. It's an amazing frequency. Then the other energy symbol that I keep seeing, that began in Marrakesh, and I just immediately saw this symbol and thought, that's one of my rune cards. That's so one of the rune cards. And I just took a picture and left it. And then as I moved around these more Berber, Amazigh, deep south of Morocco frequencies, I discovered that this symbol is actually the Amazigh flag, which was adopted in 1970 in Algeria. And Algeria, just as a side subject, is a very fascinating place. It's the largest country in Africa. And I do feel a need to try and visit at some point. I don't know when that will be. But so it's this Berber flag, and it's static needs. And so there's something here about a frequency of needs that require fulfillment, and they require fulfillment in order for a divine masculine frequency to be given some kind of skin so that we can create something in our physical world that's much more enjoyable, tangible, all of these kind of energies. It's the big frequency, but most importantly, it shows you how these symbols filter their way into our lives, and they keep showing up. So I'm going to show you some other images here where I've seen those symbols just around, really bringing the message that there's something energetic for us to deal with. So I'm going to end this little reading by doing an audio and showing you something wonderful of life to look at while we look into these two symbols and what they mean. And I will end by showing you the 3 pick-a-door readings that are coming very soon. I just have to record all of the footage and the spreads. It's become very complicated, and there is a message for all readers out there. Now is a time to think about quality rather than quantity. We all know that. We know that, but we find it very difficult to move into that energy, and yet it is the frequency now. Quality over quantity. So here is footage of the beach. I'm no longer in this apartment. I booked a different apartment to be closer to the beach, and when I arrived they said I had to stay in this other place for 2 nights, and it stunk of sewage. But look, I am dealing with all things that come towards me because that's part of the frequency. So while you're enjoying the beach, let's shuffle the decks and see what static needs, what this wonderful energy of 12 has to say to us. So we have one card, Pallas Athena, 4/4, the Snake Wrangler. You see, that energy there, to me, feels exactly what's going on. This is the point at which we're wrangling between 2 different snakes, the Jormungandr, the earth snake, and then the cosmic snake, which is Ophiuchus. And we're trying to bind them together within our hearts to make some kind of transformative energy. So, okay, I'm picking up this energy of the old timeline, the old Jormungandr, being let go of, being transformed. So it's time for a new Jormungandr, a new earthbound snake. So amazing cards, Quawar, 50, and Sulfur. It's time to speak new narratives into the world. Throw the box away. Don't think outside the box. It's time now to throw the box away. We need sparkling new narratives. We need complex, compound rhythms to help inform us of the direction we're going in. Turn right around. Stop reviewing the past. Stop considering how life has treated you badly. This is now time to acknowledge needs, static needs that must be fulfilled. So I'm getting 505 because I've now got Moon in Leo. Explosive creative inspiration. This is when the sun and the moon work in harmony with each other to create an Janus Geminus that we can move through. Interesting that, as I've said, Janus Geminus, we've got rusted and we got moon in Gemini. Moving out the, So the superhero, moon superhero, the emotional moon superhero, you have to create your emotional moon superhero to flow out of the Janus Geminus that we're seated in at the moment, that we're inside, because that was the review. That was our life's purpose, to review. It's time to come out of that tunnel, that particular space, and into a new reality, truly into a new reality. So I'm going to shuffle a couple of these runes from the Liffruma deck and just see what other message 12 has about static needs that must be fulfilled. You see Herteka, 5/3. This energy, so I'm being shown how traversing pain, emotional troubles, difficulties is the very nature of our light, of our duality. You see, but there's something about the duality becoming unison and moving together, both in the shadows and in the light, moving in melodious harmony. And then we have Eeyore, we have Jormungandr. So there is the very serpent. You see, there's something of the broken serpent, the broken inner child. I have this joke with my friend about kill your inner child. It's been coming up in readings, and she keeps telling me I have to do the reading on kill your inner child, but it's not so much, it's let go of all wounds, because there's a secondary earth serpent, a different destiny here, and this ends with 12. It's the very card has come out in its own reading. So I'm going to say 2866. I'm just looking into the energies here. I feel like I need to read the message on 12. All physical manifestations require structural frames to hold form. Atomic microfractals echo swell to cosmic tensile macro scaffolding, holding static. Oh, you see, static. I've been getting more and more static energy. I'd forgotten that. Taking off clothing and them being alive with static, and I can't even brush the static down. It just stays physically present. So learn the firm boundaries and edges of the space your cells create as flesh. You see, you need to acknowledge those cells, your life force in this current ending timeline, this old line, this old tune, this old melody. You need to feel into that space entirely to acknowledge it if you want to let go of it in its entirety. Sense the skin of your shell's perimeter and push your conscious energy beyond. Be charged, be ready to arc your love into the etheric. Love is all keys, locksmith to all vaults. What could be more vital than love in all things? Because it feels like that's where we're heading. But anyway, let's see what Flursa offers in response to this. So, Flursa, I have to laugh because there's a massive, giant interruption that keeps taking place. I've been trying to create these readings for about 3 days, and there's a guy who's kind of looking after the apartments that I'm in, and every time I'm filming something or recording, he interrupts. He just appears and puts a great big stop in everything. And you will see in the footage of the readings, there is an energy of giant shadows that keeps turning up. It's just so funny. Whenever it happens, instead of being frustrated or annoyed, and I think this is part of the energy, there's just a lovely, calm acceptance of whatever comes towards me. So, Flursa. Let's have a look at Flursa. Oh, that's a bit of a big explosion. So on the floor we have Spirit. It's interesting, and Moon in Aquarius. So we've immediately got this 3888, a sudden precipitous outpouring of spiritual love. And then we have the golden tears of acacia, resin, unsticking something, and then a universal soul attraction with Pluto. You know, this energy of Pluto now being in Aquarius is a new emotional timeline that we're working through. It's really important. So let's just look at the individual cards. Moon in Aquarius and Spirit is bringing the notion of a self-actualized salvation. We fix ourselves. We are the objective visionary. And we are listening to our soul's heart. And I think that's important because that's the energy of creation that's taking place here. This mother phallus energy, it must flow into the physical world so that the raw emotional and divine masculine frequencies of action can create a skin, a physical presence around this new emotional self-actualized salvation, emotionally planting deep love. Then we have resin, the golden tears of acacia. So this is joyous loving. This is what we need to get used to. So stepping into an energy where pronoia, where the universe supports us. See, I'm getting this energy of 8878 now. 8878 or 7888. 7868. Getting all these different frequencies coming through. So sticky, tough, emotional realizations. That's really what the flow is asking us to deal with. Are you ready to unpick all the wounds? Are you ready to cry tears of joy at the spiritual and emotional support that is surrounding us? It's now time to draw out our true expression. So there's a huge cleansing, a sweetening of everything around us. And then we have magnet, this universal soul attraction. Practicing scales and arpeggios. Look, we've been practicing how to create, how to think, how to be more emotionally stable for a long time. But now is the point at which this energy, we become the magnet. We become the vessel in which to allow all of this muon aether frequency to be around us. And then Pluto is reminding us not just of being in Aquarius and that new frequency of the next 20 years, because that's what we're doing. All doorways are open, and that's coming in the next reading, these open doorways. But all possibilities are open. This is absolute creativity. The option to be, to experience all and everything that we might imagine if we can only imagine it. Because all timelines are open to step into. That's what this moment is bringing us. This next 18 months, 15 months maybe, is bringing about this change. How ahead of the game do you want to remain to make life easier for you? That's really the energy that's coming across here. I'm talking too long. So let's just see what the runes want to add. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. So we have oaths, which is God mouth, but we've also got Flursa. So in the 12th reading, 12th turned dark. In this reading, Flersa turned dark. This is really important. 767. I just need to say that immediately. 767. So Os is Godmouth. So there's something, that's interesting. So I'm being shown the purity of what we would call the divine feminine, the mother phallus energy, but it has to be physically present in the real world around you. We have to anchor it into the new future timeline that is developing. So I'm getting a massive spinal trauma coming through just below the lungs, just almost at the point at which air and digestion transform. So the mother phallus is pure spring water, pure Akash. This is the energy of stabilized creational potential. And then that is going to be, that has to flow into the world around us in order for there to be a new timeline created, a new scaffolding, a new structure around your deepest, truest, static desires. So I'm going to read Flersa to you. A rite of passage into fertility, fluidity, and creative potential. Shifting in a divine moment, synchronizing blood to the cosmic cycles, stepping towards the moon magic of life. Womb flow from the sacral seat. The bloodlines through time that give form to life, to be in tune and lose count of the structures that hinder mystical progress, to accept and not question, to release resistance and be 13 moons frequency. So all the way through that I've been getting a connection to the moon in Leo, because obviously the full moon in Leo is about to take place, and it's a very powerful, transformative, what do I want to say? I want to say ego sandblasting somehow. There's a big transformation to our ego if we can just turn around and stop assigning any kind of blame to our experiences in life, but to move forward into this new energy. Everything is transforming. This is massive, this is huge, but this is really important that we understand the static needs, the desires, the things we have can only be fulfilled. They can only fill with flow. They can only take the form of the mother phallus energy if we truly let go of all the past. We cannot keep holding wounds. The wounds must be left behind. This is a really important message. Look at the space in front of you. Look at the vista in front of your life when you no longer hold on to any traumas. It's an open pathway to joy, to bliss. So that's the other energy I've been getting. I've been losing, what do I want to say? When I was staying in Hastings, maybe 2 years ago, and I first had my lovely deck, I was shuffling the cards, and the the bliss card, Une, flew into the air, and then it perfectly landed between two floorboards and was lost to me and the world. And then here, just 2 nights ago, I was shuffling the cards, and again a card jumped out and tried to escape underneath a sofa and floorboards, and I just caught it in time, and it was bliss. It's like if you want to experience bliss, you need to know the mother phallus shape that bliss takes personal to you. You have to create the shape of the bliss you wish to experience. And that's really the big message here. This is a moment of explosive creativity, that moon in Leo, this chance to redefine our spiritual journeys going forwards. Every possibility is open. You need to think, we all need to think outside the box to create something absolutely spectacular in our lives. So, here are the 3 doors.